Hello and welcome to guitar lesson number 2 in our series of learning how to play the guitar with a right hand technique using a classical style, a finger style. Last week we learned how to tune the guitar and how to sit with the guitar. So I'm using the stand. You can use the footstool or the stand, or however you would prefer to sit. I tend to sit when I'm practicing with the stand on the bottom of the guitar resting on my right leg. For performance, resting on my left leg like this. So last week we learnt how to play the notes of the open strings using the right hand, fingers I, M and A. We rested the right hand on the guitar with the thumb on the 6th string here, the index, middle and ring fingers on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd strings like this. And we played an arpeggio and a chord. Our arpeggio was using index, middle and ring fingers, striking 45 degrees under the strings, under the hand, across the strings like so. Then we did a chord, the chord being those same notes, being an E minor chord, playing all of those fingers at the same time. So keeping the thumb resting on the 6th string and striking the 3 fingers, index, middle and ring, 45 degrees across the strings underneath the hand, like this. Need to aim for a clear, full tone with each note played simultaneously. Similarly with the arpeggio, a nice full clear tone like this. Today we're going to add the thumb of the right hand, and we're also going to add one of the fingers for the left hand. So far we've only played the E minor chord, which is the open strings of the guitar. So the thumb, which we're going to start with now, is on the E string. That's the bass E string of the guitar. So the open string on the 6th is E. The thumb, differently to the fingers, strikes the string down from the ceiling to the floor and circles around from the thumb joint from here, circling around, striking the string in a fluid motion and circling around so that it comes back to the same position, ready to play again. The thumb never strikes up this way unless you're playing flamenco in some chord shapes, but for classical the thumb always plays down from the ceiling to the floor like this. So try playing with the thumb, striking through the E string like so. Once you've got the hang of that, let's add in the arpeggio that we learnt last week with the fingers. So we start off striking the thumb on the E string, and then the index finger playing the G string, the middle finger playing the B string, and the ring finger playing the E string. So our arpeggio now will sound like this. Notice there's no movement in the right hand here. It is still. The only movement is from the knuckles and the joints of the hand here. That's your first exercise for this week. The second exercise is to alternate, starting with the thumb again in the same way, but then leading with the ring finger on the first string, then middle, and then index. So it will sound like this. That's an arpeggio of E minor. Arpeggio meaning the notes of the chord separated. The third exercise for this week is to play the chord of E minor all together as a chord. So the thumb and the fingers all playing simultaneously. So the thumb strikes down, the fingers strike up underneath the hand like so. So it will sound and look like this. This is the fundamental basis for a lot of guitar playing, using the chord and arpeggio, playing right hand, various variations. But if you can get these techniques correct, then you're on your way to playing with a right hand classical technique. Let's move now to the left hand. So the right hand, thumb, index, middle, and ring, or P-I-M-A, which is the Latin. The left hand is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Today we're only going to be using the number 1 finger, that's the index on the left hand. The thumb is placed behind the neck of the guitar like this. And then the finger, today, just the index finger, will curl around and press behind the first fret of the second string. So these are frets moving down the neck of the guitar, and you place your fingers behind frets to create different notes. When the first finger is pressed behind the first fret of the second string, that is the note C. Hold that relatively tightly, but not forcing it, just so that it's tight enough to make a clear note. Use the middle finger like you did previously in the arpeggio and strike the middle finger against the second string, holding the first finger behind the first fret of the second string, like so. That's the note C. Continue to hold that first finger behind the fret and then play the arpeggio that we did before. So that is using the index, middle, and ring finger again, with the thumb resting. And then alternately. And that's an arpeggio of C major. So your exercises this week are slightly expanded, using thumb on the right hand to play chords and arpeggios, and then using the left hand to play the note C and the chord of C major and the arpeggio of C major. Continue to practice the exercises that we learned last week, as well as the new exercises from this week. It will maybe be about 10 minutes to 15 minutes of practice per day. And if you can manage that and create a full tone like we've described in the lesson, then you are well on your way to being able to play fingerstyle guitar. See you in the next lesson.